Bold Park Community Schools now, we're just entering our 20th year, and when we began it was an independent kindy. Our founder was Gillian McAuliffe, and she, together with parents and educators, really decided to start a school. And what they wanted to do was create a learning environment that maintained that kind of joy of learning that young children have. They wanted to have a school environment where learning was relevant and authentic and connected children to each other and to the world around them. And right around that time, she travelled to Reggio, and she came across a kindred spirit in the Reggio experience, and that's had a profound influence on our school. I think it's helped us to articulate our beliefs of learning, and also importantly gave us ideas on the organisational structures that can support what we do. So the school now goes from our earliest students, I guess, would be the playgroup that come in here at 18 months old, but we go all the way through to year 12 now. And what we've tried to do is really take this approach to education, which is really about centering learning, and then make that run all the way through from the young years right through to adolescence. So they asked themselves really is how can we create a different school environment, and essentially one of the most important factors is creating it around relationships. So relationships are central because everything we learn as people is mediated through other people. So the classrooms are nurturing the relationships within the classroom is very important. So we deliberately, in each room, we put 2 educators in a room. We have small class sizes, and really trying to develop our understanding of the children in the group, and then nurturing those relationships between the children as well. And then we extend that idea of relationships to also the context that we're in. So our learning is also mediated by our cultural and historical context. So by connecting the learning that's occurring in the classrooms to the real world that surrounds the children, and by looking at things that matter to the children, then we can bring that kind of relevance and authenticity to the learning. And really this essentially is the idea of place-based learning. And if you're, with that in mind, then that naturally leads you into the outdoor environments and understanding the world around you, the natural world. You'll notice throughout the school a very big kind of, I guess, commitment to valuing nature and using nature to learn. And we know for children's health and well-being, for everyone's health and well-being, how important nature is. So developing this early connection and relationship with nature is very important to what we do as well. And again, if we think about what structures do we have in place to support that, then we've got these beautiful natural environments within the school grounds, and we access the natural environments outside of the school grounds. And we also have a teacher who's the outdoor specialist, so she then works alongside classroom teachers, helping them to use the outdoors for learning.
So our wild space, as we call it, is our natural kind of bush area that the students use both for learning and for play. Each primary through middle school class has scheduled class time out here every week. And part of my role as the outdoor provocation specialist is to collaborate with the classroom teachers and bridge that indoor and outdoor learning. So this year we're actually calling the learning in this space Cottage and Bujar, which is Noongar for learning ground, and integrating a lot of our science curriculum in what the class times have out here.
And I think one of the other big influences that we had from the Reggio experience was really this understanding of the power of the 100 languages. So you'll also notice throughout the school the profile that we give to the arts. And the children in the school spend long periods of time immersed in the arts. And again, we have dedicated specialists that work alongside the classroom teachers. So when they work in the classrooms, they're really bringing a new way of looking at learning. So We really believe that education is more than just knowledge, skills and content. It's really a way of being in the world and knowing the world, and the arts is such a powerful lens to the world that we have to understand and communicate. This classroom's the Curious Jitties. Each year at the beginning of the year the children come up with a class name. This creates a sort of sense of belonging, and alongside that they create their own agreements for how they're going to live and work together in the year. What we see here is an example of when we have the arts specialists come alongside and work with the class teaching teams. The children began this project mapping the area of the lake and the school, and then they've reduced it now to drilling down into the school, and they're creating this model which the children are then going to they're going to these favourite areas in the school and filming what's so special about the area, and that will be attached to each space with a QR code, so it's kind of their tour of the school, and this is all in celebration of our 20th year anniversary. So when the project's occurring, there might be a small group of children working on one part at a time with the teacher. The children will, that work will keep on going when the specialist isn't in here as well, so it becomes very integrated into the whole classroom. All of these things come together and they really frame the importance of the environments that we provide for children. So a lot of thought has gone into the very physical context of the environment, the way the classrooms are positioned, the outlook of the classrooms. But also when we think about environments, we're thinking beyond the physical as well, and we're also talking about what we bring into that environment, so the type of materials that we bring into the environment, how we group the children in those environments, what variety of opportunity we're offering, and also very much the temporal climate of that environment, so how time-bound are things? Are we allowing children to go back to their work? Are we allowing for extended periods of time to investigate? So it's a very important part. And alongside that come the allowances and the decision making we make as adults around what we're going to allow and what we're not going to allow in an environment. So all of these things shape the possibilities of learning that can occur. And you'll see in our environments that there's a lot of diversity and richness and variety, so wanting to bring in this complexity. And as we bring in complexity, we're actually bringing in inclusion, so there's more ways for people to engage and there's different levels for people to engage, so that's a very important part. We multi-age our classes when we're in primary school, and in each room we'll have 2 educators working with the children, so that gives a lot of flexibility to work in small groups. They'll come together as a whole group in the beginning and end of the day to plan and reflect on their learning, but the teachers will have the potential to work with different groups on different activities, so it's rare that you would see all the children doing the same thing at the same time. We're trying to provide variety of opportunities, so there's different, all the work doesn't have to occur on a tabletop basically, but there's opportunity for that. So it gives flexibility, and the environment then sort of shapes the type of groupings you can have, the type of engagement that children have with that space. And you'll notice as well that the materials are all accessible, so the teachers, when they're talking about these classroom agreements, a lot of that is about how we're going to maintain our environment, where the materials belong and when they can access them. But the idea is really to give children a sense of agency, that they can find what they need when they need it to resource their learning.